Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon The Series The Beginning episode talks, and this time we are now done with the movie, the 2000 movie finally, so back to filler. We got another filler episode, boys, but don't worry about it this time. We have a fun filler, actually. So let's get straight into it. So then, once again, a storm is happening because of course it is. What is these orange islands made of? It's always storms everywhere we go. It's just always, just everything is storming. Anyway, that will prevent us from leaving this island. However, food for the Pokemon isn't really a problem according to Tracy because this island is full of it, which kind of makes the ending of the episode kind of a bit weird, but we'll get there when we get there because there's a bunch of flowers and stuff like that that Pokemon like to eat. So he finds a set of flowers, but they are attached to a boy named Golzar who challenges Tracy to a battle, but then Tracy doesn't want to. Ash also doesn't want to because he's hungry, but don't worry about it, the battle will happen anyway. So Golzar sends out his Gloom and Ash like, go Charizard, because you know fire and flying are both good against Gloom. But then he accidentally grabbed the Pokeball of Squirtle, who has no chance at all because water actually is good for plants. So then afterwards he's like, go Charizard, but it's Snorlax's Pokeball this time and accidentally drops the Pokeball, which causes it to break, which is the plot of the episode. Snorlax's Pokeball is broken and Snorlax can be returned into its Pokeball, and Snorlax is the fat, lazy one. So Gloom uses Solar Beam, which causes Snorlax to wake up. He then wants to eat Gloom, which obviously Golzar then returns Gloom to the Pokeball, but then Snorlax eats the flowers on his head, so then Golzar is upset about that and leaves. But now we need to figure out a way to get Snorlax to a Pokemon Center in order to fix the Pokeball. Little problem though, Snorlax is asleep. And I do like this is my favorite part of the episode, the fact that they have to get creative on how Snorlax, you know, move, because Snorlax is heavy. So they come up with the idea of using logs in order to move Snorlax. And basically Tracy and Ash and also Pikachu, they drag Snorlax while Misty grabs the log and like moves the logs so that we can have logs for the whole trip in that sense. However, that doesn't necessarily work entirely because of the fact that Pikachu is just too tired because Snorlax is just so then we need another idea, and Tracy has an idea because he still has an apple with him and he wants to use that in order to get Snorlax up the hill. Problem is, he holds that over Snorlax's head and Snorlax instantly is just like, home, and it's like, okay, apple gone. But then the idea becomes of a costume. Yes, indeed, Ash is gonna wear an apple costume, which is the funniest thing I've seen. And he runs up the mountain, but the problem is he trips, so Snorlax does get to have a bite, but it's too hard. Snorlax doesn't like the apple and goes back to sleep. And then we get a pun about doctors and apples and all that stuff. However, we made it to the top, boys. Too bad Snorlax didn't like the ash bowl. However, now we need to get down the mountain. Going down usually isn't as bad as going up, but we have a river next to us, so we'll use that in order to get down the mountain. So we build a raft, put Snorlax on the raft, and afterwards put the raft in the water. And I find it weird that the raft doesn't move even though the water is moving. But anyway, let's go, boys. We go, and waterfall. Of course, because it always happens, waterfall. We fall down the waterfall. But don't worry about it, we make it to the Pokemon Center. However, everyone is waiting because this one does not have an airport, this island. So food comes from the sky. However, this time it is late. So finally it arrives. The food falls with a parachute, obviously. And then Team Rocket steals the food and are like, you want this food? Then give us Pikachu. And Ash like, that's not happening. And then Golzar actually defends Ash because you're all traded. You should be ashamed of yourself trading a Pokemon for food. So then Team Rocket challenges Ash to a battle. Pikachu against the Meowth robot. And if Team Rocket wins, they get Pikachu. So Ash accepts. However, the problem is Pikachu is useless because it doesn't know Iron Tail yet. So Ash kind of has to give in, but before anything can really be decided, Snorlax wakes up because of the commotion, and he then takes care of the Meowth robot, which I found funny because earlier Ash was like, how are we even supposed to beat that thing? And Snorlax just easily basically just takes care of it, which is actually funny. He moves so fast. God, I love Snorlax. What a big boy. So then Snorlax takes care of Team Rocket and then finishes them off with the newly learned move, Hyper Beam. And Team Rocket is gone, everyone gets their food, and the Pokeball gets fixed. And now we go back on the road again because the next episode is gym time. But overall, I like this episode. I thought it was really funny with the whole getting Snorlax up and down the mountain. I very much enjoyed that. Yes, the Team Rocket stuff was classic Team Rocket stuff because we need to have that. But overall, I still enjoyed this episode. And to be honest, an episode focusing on Snorlax can never really go wrong because Snorlax is just that much of a champion. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. With that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if not already, turn notifications. Don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel link in the description and at the end of the video. And I'll see you guys next time when we have gym battle, baby. Finally, we made it to the final gym in the Orange Islands. Bye.